This week, the same Florida federal judge who ruled in January that Obamacare is unconstitutional granted the Obama administration a stay, a little time off, while an appellate court takes up the issue. He also called on the appeals court to take on this issue quickly, saying, quote, "The sooner this issue is finally decided by the Supreme Court, the better off the entire nation will be." I don't know that anybody can disagree with that. But until then, my next guest is demanding that Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, completely stop the implementation of Obamacare. Here now is Texas Republican Congressman and physician Michael Burgess. Congressman, Dr. Burgess, it's a pleasure. Welcome to Freedom Watch.
Well, Judge, it's always an honor to be with you, sir.
Thank you. You've had some in-your-face tangles with Secretary Sebelius, have you not? What has she told you she wants to do, and what do you want her not to do until the courts resolve this?
Well, yeah, well, unfortunately, they haven't been in-your-face tangles because until yesterday, our committee hadn't seen her for well over a year. And, of course, during that year's time, we passed Obamacare, or PPACA, or whatever you call it. And she really owed us several visits to talk about what she's doing as far as spending the people's money and the implementation of this law. Now, when Judge Vinson came out with his ruling January 31st, I pretty quickly got a letter out to her and said, Judge Vinson says, no, the summary judgment is the equivalent of a moratorium on your implementation,
right?
Because no executive of the federal office is going to continue to violate the will of the court. So she never replied to that letter. So I asked her directly yesterday in committee and basically got the stiff arm from the secretary. I'm sure people who watched it could tell the body language from both of us that neither one of us wanted to be talking to each other at that moment.
All right.
But it is critical. And Judge Vinson, in his new ruling, you know, when you first pick up the AP headline, sounds like a big victory for President Obama and Secretary Sebelius. But in fact, I don't know, do judges ever get peevish? I know doctors do, but he almost sounded peevish in his
Trust me, they get irritated when litigants before them don't follow what they say should be done and try to wrangle their way out of it. But this is really a very interesting from a legal perspective as well as from a medical perspective. You have the governor of Florida, Rick Scott, who says, you know what, Judge Vinson sits in Florida. He sits 5 blocks from the Capitol building where I sit. He says it's unconstitutional. We're not going to implement it. You got Governor Cuomo in New York, Governor Brown in California, Governor Patrick in Massachusetts. They love this thing and they want to implement it. So you now have federal law meaning a different thing in different parts of the country until an intermediate appellate court or the Supreme Court can resolve it. What's the impression that doctors, of which you are one, take from all of this?
Well, the doctors are clearly not understanding what the road ahead is. Governor Herbert, the governor of Utah, was in our committee 2 days before, and I think I'm perhaps going to misquote here, but he said he felt like he was walking on shifting sands because he didn't know where the stability was. And here's a governor, although very conservative, from a very conservative state, had been implementing exchanges prior to the passage of Obamacare. He can't even go forward with what he was doing before the law was signed. He's so confused is the landscape out there.
Right.
And of course the poor doctors and nurses, they know at the end of the day there's going to be people who get sick and who need care and have to be taken. And of course they're going to continue to fulfill their oath and do that job. But what about the young people who are investing literally great chunks of their young lives into the study of medicine right now? What are they to look at this thing? I worry about it because sometimes we kind of convey a burden of cynicism onto the younger generation.
Got it. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.